You bleep it out?
No, I won't bleep out anything. Why would I bleep out anything?
Raw?
Keep it fucking raw. There you go. Just for you.
All right. I love it.
That's good. So, where'd you get the wine?
Just this place down the street.
Yeah.
That's why.
Have you had this before?
No.
No.
I was actually gonna call you and be like, "Hey, what do you like?" I just made the executive decision.
All right. Yeah. Always make an executive decision. You got to.
Something.
You have to sometimes.
Quick. Because I was already running behind.
Yeah.
I was at Home Depot getting a tub filler and.
Yeah. Day was good.
Today?
Yeah. Busy. Mashgul.
Bro.
Very busy.
I have a question for you.
Talk to me.
I was asking my friend this
Sure.
earlier. Do you feel like right now in life, is this the busiest that you've ever been? Or do you feel like you've been busier at other parts of your life?
No, this last year and a half, very busy. I've been nonstop. I do this, Maltepes Report. I do the College Kids Experience, which is sports betting, sports media company I have. We do radio. Last year we did radio whole football season. Not just radio for NFL, but we also did radio for college football, both. On top of that, going to university. I'm taking 6 classes.
In one semester?
One semester. I took it in the spring, 6 classes. In the summer, I took the max amount that I could, which is 4. And then I take 6 this semester. And then I take 3 in the winter, and I'll graduate by January 31st. Then I'm doing this. I'm doing the College Kids business. I just bought another real estate property, right? Up in North Philly. So now, I've been paying attention with the election. This has been very busy. I tweet out all the news. We have all the breaking information. People came to us. They said for election night, we had the best coverage out of anyone. We're up to date on everything, the fastest, which was amazing. Nonstop. And then on top of that, I'm working on opening up, hopefully, this cafe for Coffee of Gods, the best damn coffee on the planet. We're sponsored by Coffee of Gods, but it's mine.
The cafe will be here?
So we'll see. I don't want to say too much just yet. Yeah. But yeah, in the Philadelphia area. And also working on, if things go right, coffee distribution as well. So I sourced the coffee already from Dominican Republic. There's farms out there. So we cut out the middlemen, which is good. We have a lot of competitors, which charging other coffee shops a lot of money. La Colombe's like $11.69 a pound. And we plan to give them some competition. So we'll see with that. So a lot. I have a lot going on.
That's a lot to unpack.
Plus, I'm helping my father. We're producing a book together about his life and a movie.
I remember you mentioned
and a movie.
Yeah.
And the book is just about done, ready to go. A couple more, tweaks here and there, and we'll be hopping on various podcasts like this one. We'll probably hop on together on this Maltepes Report, World News Media again.
You did the screenplay too, right?
Yes. So I wrote the screenplay, and with my father and Greg Lingo, we all worked on it together. And that's already done. But we need the book to establish the IP, obviously. We don't want to turn my father from Greek to Indian or something, just like that doesn't even correlate to how, we came to this country and everything that happened. So no, definitely very busy, but 1% better every day. If you're not staying busy, well then, I'd rather be busy than not busy.
Yeah, how do you handle the stress?
One day at a time. And every day you wake up, it's a beautiful day to be alive. Someone asked me how my day's going. I said, I woke up.
2 limbs and two what?
2 arms, 2 legs, and I woke up.
There it is.
I had the best start to the day. There's not a better start to the day. I woke up. It doesn't get better than that, right? So that's how you look at it, And sometimes you sacrifice times with friends, sometimes, family, sometimes work, sometimes... And, I try to do things with my family. I have a big family. I have family on both sides. My cousin's here, part of my family. Alexander Cruz. He looks like Marcus Aurelius a little bit.
Is that a sport guy?
No, Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor.
Oh.
Yeah. He just told me a story about it, but I saved that for another day. Yeah, no, very busy, man. Very busy. How about you? How do you handle all the work you do? You are, so first of all... A little background knowledge is, this is Chris Spiridon, by the way. Welcome to the Maltepes Show and Maltepes Report. Thank you for coming on. Hold on. Technical difficulties. If we can get this right.
You know what we say, right?
What?
As Marines.
There we go.
Adapt and overcome.
Adapt and
you
overcome.
got to keep going.
Always. Never
I was
stop.
actually in a meeting earlier today, and we're briefing the colonel, pretty high-ranking officer, and one of the people that were briefing him lost its train of thought, started to get flustered, kind of started to lose the bearing, and something that they do really well with training us from the beginning is keeping your composure and making sure you don't lose that bearing. So what just happened, we
With the
started
microphone.
fumbling the mic, da-da-da-da-da,
Yeah. Just
kind
keep
of
on going.
live or whatever's happening, right?
Uh-huh.
This is my first time doing something like this, so it's good that you just adapt, overcome, improvise.
That's all you got to do. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
Right? Do me a favor real quick. Pull the mic a little this way. Yeah. There you go. Now try talking.
Is this better?
A little bit. Come up a little closer.
I can speak up.
There you go. Speak up a little bit.
Yeah, I'll just speak up.
Just speak up.
Yeah,
Much
maybe
better.
I'm being a
Be
little
you.
subtle.
Be you. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. First time on. Come on, man. No, this is my friend, Chris
Excuse
Spiridon. Great friend of mine, and also an even better person. He has now given his service to the Marines, and he is a Marine. And how long have you been a Marine?
Going on, I think like 7 years now.
7 years. Wow, that's a long time.
It's a good bit.
So, before we do that, do you want wine?
Absolutely.
All right, let's pour some real
Yeah,
quick.
let's do it.
Now, when it comes to being a Marine, what made you become a Marine? What like pushed you to go and say, I'm going to go into the military, I'm going to be a Marine, and this is what I want to do?
Yeah. I mean, you get asked that question quite a bit.
All right. Wine difficulties. We will be back and fix this. Alex, I have a question. Can you do me a favor? Can you try to push it a little in? Because we don't have
We're not even gonna make the joke.
we don't have a bottle opener, so we had to improvise, but we did not improvise well enough. So you were saying about being a Marine.
You get asked that quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
There's the not real, generic answer, but kind
Got
of.
it? You got a little spill? All right, thank you. Perfect. And you were saying?
Yeah, kind of like a cliche, like, want to do something bigger than myself and that. And those are all valid reasons. But for me, oh, thanks.
Of course.
I'll wait for you.
Want more? We'll do a cheers.
Yeah, absolutely. To your
Friendship.
show and
To
the
friendship.
coffee, to...
Friendship. No, to us. Here, let me put this here. All right, so this is Green Wing Cabernet right here, from Columbia Valley 2021. Shout out to Green Wing. We're about to taste your wine and see how it is. And let's do a little cheers.
The friendship,
To
right?
friendship. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, man.
Thanks for coming on, dude. Thank you for your service. I said it earlier. I say it again. I'll keep on saying it. You might get annoyed.
No, it's all good.
No, okay. That's good.
When you get it in the street or something, say you're wearing...
Want one of these?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right,
Nice
okay.
little thing. Nice little
Little
thing.
gold.
Little something.
It's my favorite.
That's good.
People, thank you for your service
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I find that thank you for your support is an adequate type of
Yeah.
response.
Makes sense.
'Cause thank you for thinking.
Yeah.
It's, and honestly, it's like I think a lot of service members feel kind of awkward when someone says that. At least
Really?
I know I do, and I don't have like the greatest response. And I heard a fellow service member say like, "Oh, thank you for your support." I thought that was a pretty smooth way of responding to something like that because initially, like I said,
A little
I just
louder.
felt-
Sorry.
No,
Yeah,
no, all
there you
good.
go. Perfect. I don't think it was
keep-
capturing that beautiful response. That's why.
keep letting me know, and
I will.
I'll. Can I bring it closer?
Yeah.
Maybe
Too
close?
maybe like there. Yeah, try that.
There. Yeah. So, thank you
For your support.
Because I'm not like a history buff or history guru or anything like that, but I did learn, back in like the Vietnam era, when service members would return from overseas in the airport, they weren't greeted with flowers or open arms. It was more so they were getting yelled at,
Different.
cussed at, spit at, and so they weren't always supported, baby killers and things like that. So this day and age, it's a lot different and obviously, more supportive. So appreciate the support.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your service once again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. You know what, though? Bring this. I was wrong to tell you to bring it farther away. Bring it a little closer.
This way?
Yeah. Edge it in. Yeah. Turn it a little bit. There you go. Just so this mic.
Yeah, the
just
furry one?
The little furry friend. Yeah.
Back to the original question. Why did I want to join?
Why did you want to join the Marines? What pushed you? What made you? Usually there's a turning point in people's lives that I found. I talked to a Green Beret sniper before. I talked to other military people. There's a moment in which they were like, this is what I want to do because of this. And there's a turning point. Was that the case with you?
So there was a lot of different contributing factors. I was in college before I joined the military.
Okay.
And so I was getting close to graduating, and I wasn't really sure exactly what I wanted to do. And then I started to take into consideration a couple different approaches. I knew I always wanted to, serve at some capacity. Mm-hmm. I reflect, with these older gentlemen at the VFW, and they would tell you their little, war stories and whatnot. And I kind of wanted to be that old man in a bar in the future sometime.
Stories,
when I was in it
back in my day,
not a lot of people get to
do that,
have that.
Yeah.
And so that was one thing that contributed to it. Another thing is, I don't know if you remember talking about kind of where I'm from or anything like that.
Yeah. You're Lebanese?
Yes. Lebanese, was born in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, moved to the United States when I was like 8 years old.
What age? 8? Yeah. I didn't know what age. I don't remember, but yeah.
It was
young.
It was young, so that's why I don't really have an accent.
Yeah.
But like my older sister, she came in.
She has an accent?
Not really. Just
slightly.
Ever so subtle.
Yeah.
But moved to Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And so,
to me, you have more of a Boston accent.
Yeah, well, we're next to Boston.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
About 45 minutes south of Boston, somewhere town or city called Fall River.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you know anything about this city, it's kind of rough.
Really?
To say the least. Yeah,
I don't know anything about it. That's
why. It ranks like top worst cities in the United States. It falls within that metric. Or
how was it like going there, growing up?
Well, it kind of alluded to the joining and whatnot.
Makes
so this city is like a trap.
Yeah.
A lot of people get stuck in this city, and I witnessed that, and obviously that I didn't want that for me. I wanted to get out. Granted, I was going to school in Rhode Island, but my whole family was still in Fall River, and so another reason why I kind of wanted to join, because I knew I would have that opportunity to end up, traveling and things like that. So, just wanted to serve, be a part of something bigger than myself, get out of that city, because it was pretty rough growing up and stuff like that, and not being stuck there. A lot of, gang problems, drug issues, just there wasn't really a lot of opportunity there.
So there's something I heard once. It's position dictates decision. And then there's also something else, like I know about Philly. Philly, it's not the best city either. There's a lot of rough parts.
It's not the best what?
City. Yeah. There's a lot of rough parts to Philadelphia, right?
I mean, I tell people I'm from Philly, they're like, oh my God.
Yeah. Don't tell anyone overseas. They'll be scared. But no, So a lot of times they say you have less than 5 decisions or ways your life's going to go. You end up in jail, prison, end up dying. You end up very poor, or you go to the military. And there's probably like one more to it. I don't remember exactly all of the different avenues, but they say you have like 5 different ones. And it's not easy. It's very hard. And as you pointed, you went to the military, but you also did go to college and whatnot. And I just know that coming from Philadelphia, I was born here. Obviously, I didn't grow up entirely my whole life here, but I had family that did, and it's not easy. It's not.
Yeah. I think it was, critical at that time to kind of. So having gone to school was a great decision for myself, because I was able to join as an officer. And so I don't know if you understand the dynamic in which the military structure is. You have your enlisted, you have your, do you know?
So tell me about it. No, just in case the audience doesn't know either, it's perfect if you go into as much detail as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's 2 different pathways. You could either enlist, and you would be an enlisted member of the military, or you can go to school and commission and be an officer. So 2 separate
branches,
structures.
Yeah, structures.
And so in order to become an officer, you have to have a college degree, a 4-year college degree. And having went to Rhode Island College in Providence, I was able to check that box. I saw that. I was able to
little nod.
Yeah. I was able to check that box and go in as an officer. And I think that was just something that was beneficial for me. Joining as an enlisted member for someone who hasn't gone to school is still, a great option. I work with great enlisted leaders as you work your way through the ranks. However, as an officer, you definitely have a lot more responsibility. You get paid more. You definitely get treated a little differently. However, with that comes a lot more responsibility. Yeah. And so you have to make sure you keep that in mind. We're not just, because we have a college degree and get paid more, still the expectation isn't as the same as someone who just came in straight out of high school. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're not held to the same standard. Yeah. And so that being an officer, like I said, it just ended up working, better for me just because I had went to school. I did notice, though, that people who join enlisted and then convert into becoming an officer obviously have more experience and probably know a little bit better than a regular, officer who didn't have that enlisted experience. So they call them Mustangs. For the record, yeah. So if you hear someone like, a lot of people mistake me for a Mustang. Just because I think I seem a little older. I got the bald look and whatnot, and they think that I served prior, or they call them priors.
But I've heard that.
Yeah, prior enlisted and went in to be an officer. But yeah, that's kind of a quick gist. Did that make sense?
It made it completely sense. Trust me.
So when
good.
do you want to join?
Complete sense. He's trying to listen to me now. That's good. I have a question. Do you like the wine?
It's good.
You like it? I do too.
I'm starting to feel the heat.
You feeling the heat? Mm-hmm. Shout out to Green Wing Wines. Thank you very much. Very good Cabernet, 2021 Columbia Valley. So when it comes to being a Marine, what does it take? What is the training like? What are the requirements?
Yeah.
What is it like? What mentality do you need being in there?
Such a awesome question, honestly.
Thank you.
So I'm biased.
Yeah.
I love our sister branches.
Okay.
The Army, the Air Force, the Navy, the Coast Guard, Space Force, you name it.
Yeah.
They're wonderful.
I'm going to take this off real quick. My ear's getting a little hot.
The wine, I told you the heat's coming.
I think so, a little bit.
However, the Marine Corps, again, I'm biased,
Yeah.
has something special. I believe, and this is my opinion, that we are, the best out of the other branches.
Out of the others. The other branches.
Marines are very prideful.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When someone says they're a Marine, they get a certain
level of
reaction
respect.
out of,
Reaction, yeah.
someone who's like, oh yeah, I'm in the Air Force.
Yeah. It's true.
And so, I mean, that's why I chose the Marine Corps out of all the other branches. So we talked about why I joined the military, but we didn't talk about why I joined the Marine Corps out of all the other branches. And so knowing, the challenge that was going to come with being a Marine, check this out.
What?
It took me 2 tries to become a Marine officer.
Really?
I joined initially, I went to Officer Candidate School. It's a 10-week program where you go through all the different type of, training.
What does that consist of, the type of training, real quick?
It's primarily physical.
Physical?
I mean, there's a lot of physical training, but you also have an academic aspect of it where they're sleep depriving you, they're physically training you extremely hard, and then you got to go take tests on like 3-4 hours of sleep, and you're doing that while hungry, tired, just uncomfortable. And so the training pipeline, I could definitely get into that. But just to elaborate on why it took me 2 tries, the 10-week program, the first time was in 2016. Got to week 8. And part of one of the physical training exercises, evolution, I injured my ankle. And so...
What happened? What did you do? Do you know?
Yeah. I replay it. I replay it in my head quite a bit.
Oh, no, that's not good.
And I
must have been bad.
I try to think of like how I could have avoided that injury because it's with me for the rest of my life.
Really?
It's a tough injury.
Yeah.
But there was this like obstacle course that you had to get through, and we had to carry this dummy across this platform on like a 2x4.
Oh, wow.
Just imagine trying to balance. And they make these obstacles kind of impossible just to put you under that stress and that pressure.
Vigorous.
So they'll present you with a scenario, and hey, you gotta resupply them across the bridge. It's blown up. You can't touch this. Go. And you have 3 other guys with you, and you're trying to formulate this plan on the spot, and you have a timeline you're trying to be, and you're getting evaluated, right? Yeah. All while doing this because you could fail out.
Yeah.
So I'm in the middle of this little, evaluation.
Obstacle. Yeah, evaluation.
And I never handled a dummy before, so I wasn't really aware of how much they weighed. Yeah. I was, never grabbed one of those things before. Yeah. Them things is...
I haven't either. So.
Yeah, well, if you don't know, bro, those things are
heavy.
Real humans and have the limbs and everything, and the weight is there. And so when I started trying to balance on this 2x4 thing, the way it balanced, I got flung over and landed on my ankle with this extra 250 pounds on me, and just the load, with a flat Kevlar rifle, all the things, and that was it. So week 8 of 10.
Did you break it? What did you do? Do you know?
Yeah, it was right before the break, which they say, I don't know if you know this about injuries, breaking it is most times easier. Yeah,
I've had both. That's why.
Yeah.
On my ankle, I broke my ankle, but I've sprained it countless times. High ankle sprains, very bad, yeah.
Yes, and so the recovery for a sprain is a lot different than a break they can just put it back together. And so it was right before the break, and so it took me like a year to recover.
Wow.
And I went back in 2018, the second time around. And obviously, I made it through that time. But, that takes a certain level of dedication, you know what I mean, to have
discipline.
gone through 8 weeks of this misery
Then that happens.
and then waiting a year, recovering, and then going back.
So that year in between that you were recovering, did you have, like, was it like, no, was the mindset, the mentality, I need to come back and finish what I started?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bro, I was on they call him an OSO, Officer Selection Officer. It was out of Providence, Rhode Island. I was on his ass to get me back as fast as possible.
That's awesome.
And the thing is, when they let me go the first time, they said that I could come back and complete like a 6-week modified, training. So there's a lot that goes into this. I don't know how much you want to dig into the
As much detail as you
weeds.
want. Listen, I want the people to understand what it's like
Yeah.
being in the military. And, the average everyday citizen, I'm not sure they understand. Sometimes some people don't appreciate it. Some people do. But when you see what it takes and the requirements, the training and the dedication, the blood, sweat, tears that go into it, well, you have a certain level of respect for it and you understand and you're like, thank you.
Absolutely.
And it means something. And I think more people need that in this country. That's just my opinion.
So if you don't mind,
Yeah.
I'll plug myself in real quick.
Yeah,
For
go ahead,
anyone who
please.
might be interested or anything like that, and if we don't answer any questions that you might have and you want to get with me offline, and I'm more than happy to facilitate or answer any questions.
And we'll
If this
tag,
reaches anyone.
if you want to shout out I don't know if you want social media shout out, whatever the case is. I can also, if you want, you guys can comment in the comment section below about this if you'd like more, talk with Chris. Want to talk with Chris, a little more contact, and we can set something up.
One last little announcement, I guess.
Yeah, please.
This is Christopher Spiridon talking, not Captain Christopher Spiridon. I don't want anyone to, for political reasons, think I'm speaking on behalf of the Marine Corps. This is strictly my perspective, my personal perspective, and my personal opinions, because
Yeah, of
really,
course. Yeah. Of
there's
course.
some
it's different. You know
tape
what I mean?
there, yeah.
It's you as a person, not as the captain. Yeah.
So to just explain the different avenue in which you can become an officer, 2 different ways. You can either go and do something called PLC, which is Platoon Leaders Course, which is split into 2 separate 6-week programs for 2 summers while you're in college. So you make the decision while you're in college, I want to join. You get set up with your OSO, the Officer Selection Officer, and they'll ship you out your either sophomore or junior year of college for the first iteration, and then they'll ship you out again in your junior or senior year of college for your second iteration. You will have completed 2 6-week iterations at Officer Candidate School down in Quantico, Virginia. Or you have the 10-week program for individuals who already have their degree and they're essentially ready to go immediately. Those guys still have to go back, go to school for a year.
Back and forth.
Yeah, exactly. So when I had gotten disenrolled because I wasn't medically qualified anymore, they had offered for me to come back for that 6-week second iteration and just join in one of those classes because I had completed so much of the curriculum. However, I didn't get back in time, and so I had to redo the whole 10 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
Quite a lot, yeah. So real quick, I want to touch on something you talked about. You talked about how you needed to be medically cleared. And you talked about how it's very vigorous, the training. You get 3 to 4 hours of sleep, and you got to take all these tests. You get evaluated. You're going through obstacle courses. You have dummies on you that weigh 250 pounds. You're going across these things. You might fall. You might not. Who knows, right? Now, there's a study that recently came out that said 70% of people, American citizens, are unfit to be cleared for the military. They would need a waiver. What do you think of that whole situation?
So the standards are becoming a little more relaxed.
Really?
I mean, this is public information. You can read about this. The armed services are not, across the board, are not fulfilling their recruiting numbers. And so I do think, though, the Marine Corps might be the only one that is.
A little biased.
Just saying. Maybe. I don't know.
Just a little bit.
So I think that, to answer your question, I think that right now, because of how, as a country, we are kind of hurting to recruit, you do have to relax the standards slightly. So, you have tattoos that were something that you couldn't join with if they were below your, t-shirt.
So now they have you can have tattoos.
You can have tattoos. There's certain like hair regulations.
Yeah, I know about that.
Physical standards. And like there's a ASVAB. You have to score a certain amount. I think they've modified how high you have to score in order to get in there. And so a medical waiver, I think, might have to be appropriate for the big picture institution-wise. Personally, right, I'm like, no, fuck that. They got to be held to the same standard. There was no waiver for
how
20
many
years
before?
or whatever. Yeah. But I at least can recognize where we're at this point in time to say, maturely, hey, we might have to bend a little bit.
What do you love about the Marine Corps and being in the military? What's the biggest thing that, not you just love, but you enjoy, something that like means something to you? What is it?
So there's so much, Matt.
Yeah.
Bro.
Then give me top 5, top 3, something.
Yeah. I want to say this before I answer that, right? Right now, I'm kind of struggling in a decision on whether I want to continue service or not.
Okay.
The only reason why I'm struggling with this decision is because how much I love the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And how much I love leading Marines and being a part of a organization that prides itself in that the highest standard.
Yeah.
I have other ambitions, fortunately or unfortunately, this is what I'm struggling with right now.
Balance,
Yeah, we've talked about this. I got this real estate that I'm really passionate about. I'm trying to do both. I'm spreading myself real thin, and
it's tough.
It's not sustainable. Yeah. That's just the reality. And so I'm saying that to say I'm struggling with the decision to get out of the military because of how much I love it. So I just want to let you know that that's how much I love the Marine Corps, that it's not, if and when I get out, it's not because of any hate or discontent with the military. It's just because I had or have other ambitions that I want to get after.
You've been there for 8 years, right? Seven.
Yeah,
now gonna go on 8. That's a while, man. That's a good amount.
I don't feel guilty.
No, that's not what I meant by that. I was just saying you've been there for a while. Everyone has different ambitions, different things that, they want to do or they want to set out to do, different goals, different ambitions, something they want to spark upon. Everybody has those things, and I think it's amazing that you did 8 years.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Let me answer your question.
Yeah, please.
I'll give you the number one.
Number one.
The number one. The number one thing I love about the military, the Marine Corps specifically, is the excitement. Bro, every couple years, you're changing an assignment, and you're getting exposed to something completely new. You're moving either geographically or from one unit to another. It's really, I'm trying to do my best at articulating the scale of which, a military organization runs on. It's so massive. And so I just want you to, not to digress and get lost.
Yeah.
And if I do go that way, just...
No, please, just
hurdle
keep
me
on
back.
Going. Keep on going. Just weave it in.
Yeah, I'm trying. I want to make sure I don't,
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Go too far. But it's such a large organization. It blows my mind. The longer I stay in, the more rank I pick up, the more exposure I get to the grand scale of this, the harder it is to comprehend.
Yeah. And harder to articulate, I can imagine. Yeah.
That's why I'm struggling. Yeah. If you can't tell, I'm kind of struggling because it's something
it's hard to describe. You have to
you
really
have to,
be
like,
there
experience it. And this is 7 years of exposure that I'm
Yeah.
trying to cram into a few sentences.
Yeah.
And so going back to what I was saying about every few years you move, whether it's geographically or from unit to unit, the organization is so large and there's so many different aspects to it. You have the Fleet Marine Force, or FMF. You have Training and Education Command, which is TCOM, and that's kind of like the training pipelines, the schools that everybody has to go to. You have the recruiting piece of it. There's the headquarters aspect. There's a lot of different, I guess,
avenues,
hubs,
hubs,
that you can end up in. And I personally was in the FMF, the Fleet Marine Force. That was my first station. Then I went into TCOM, which is the training portion, which I was facilitating all the recruit training in Marine Corps recruiting Depot, San Diego, out on the West Coast. And then now I'm here with MFR, which is the Marine Force Reserve. And so I've seen
a lot,
3 different aspects of this, and there's still a few more that I still haven't gotten exposure to. The excitement that comes with each one of those is what I love most. I get exposed to a lot of different things that your average citizen doesn't get exposure to. Mm-hmm. I get to see things that not a lot of people get to see. I hear things, and I think that part is really cool and exciting. I have a secret clearance, and so I get to, again, hear things that not everyone gets the opportunity to. So I think that piece is probably like the number one most.
That's cool. That's different. I don't hear that from
thing.
Most people, hearing them say the excitement of it and being able, like you talked about, all these different channels, which you can go through, and you've been through 3 of them now, right? And to have the ability to learn all of these new things and new opportunities and new things, and opens your mind, and you hear this, this, you're constantly learning and adapting to new environments and situations. And I think that's awesome. So you talked about geographic location, right? And being able to move to geographic locations.
I wish I had a notepad and pen so I can write notes down, because there's so many things that come to mind.
Do you need a pen and pad?
If we got
one.
We
can get one. Alex, can you, there should be a pen up there. I have a book bag with
we opened up the
some
wine
paper.
bottle with it, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, we opened up the wine bottle with a pen. Somehow we did this. We don't know how, but we're going to get a notebook so you can jot some notes down. But so you talked about geographic locations, right? And talked about being able to see new places. Talked about going West Coast. You're from, overseas. You're Lebanese. You were in Abu Dhabi. Then you came here. You've been around the world. What is that like, being able to see all these different places? And for the average person that maybe doesn't get to travel, right, doesn't get to see these places, what is it like coming from a different country, coming here, and then going, as you get older, you go into Marines, now you're back all over the place? What is that like?
Yeah, that's...
Tough question.
Yeah, I'm trying to, try to...
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Cram it into a few sentences.
Perfect. All right, perfect. There you go, sir.
All right. Because you keep bringing things up, and I'm like, I want to touch on this. I want to
Trust me, I have a lot of questions.
And I don't want to, what's it called? Lose my thoughts.
Yeah, this wine's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Green Wing.
Nice.
Yeah, shout out to Green Wing, guys. Thank you so much for the wine. Very, very good. I'd get it again.
To answer your question about travel.
Yes.
Are you asking from a professional
both
perspective?
Personal, professional, both. Would you like more?
You could tell?
I'm just asking.
No, that I had finished it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like...
You can tell by the last, like, drink, sip.
All the way back, right?
That's always with, like, any drink, you know? When someone, like, kind of lifts the cup a little higher, you're like, oh, they're finishing up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For the record...
Yeah.
This is a good time.
Thank you very much. I'm having a great time.
The wine definitely helps.
The wine always helps. I've never seen wine that hurt.
I just feel like we're, going out like we would normally on any other day.
I tried telling you. He was asking, what's a podcast like? I told him, we're just having a conversation, And it's so true, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. This is my point.
So, I mean, I'm a travel buff, bro. I try to travel as much as I can. Up until I joined the military, I would travel.
Really?
Every birthday of mine. I would go somewhere else. Like I spent my 21st birthday in Vegas. It was to the point.
Oh, that's a good birthday.
Yeah.
Talk about a celebration.
Yeah, it was the whole nine.
That's good. That's good.
To the point where, so my birthday is June 10.
Okay.
And
I have that actually. I know that. Yeah.
I think I have yours
too.
Right?
I do.
Yeah, because it just passed, right?
Yeah. November 6th.
And so we were in Vegas prior to my birthday, and we were going to celebrate June 9 at like midnight. They wouldn't let me in until...
Really? Wow.
The clock.
Yeah, it's hit 12.
Exactly. Sorry, excuse me.
You're fine.
And so traveling has always been something that appealed me. Actually, when I had gotten disenrolled for the not medically qualified.
Okay, for that year.
I ended up doing I don't know if I told you this, but a backpacking trip.
You told me about the backpacking trip, but I did not know that was the year
timeline.
between. Yeah.
I needed to get away, man, because I was about to kill somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was
frustrated.
So close to completing it. And then I had all this time because I wasn't going back for, a while. Yeah. And so I ended up going to, I don't know, like 10 different countries in Europe just with a backpack. Amazing. 20 different cities. It was... So just travel in general, for anyone who doesn't travel, obviously, I'm a huge advocate and encourage trying to just expand your horizons a little bit, get to know different cultures and different foods, just, things that are maybe outside your comfort zone. Because, there's a lot of people who are just, like, scared to even leave the country. I have friends that way. They're like,
I do, too.
I like to travel, but I only be domestic. I don't want to leave the country. I don't know the language. I don't like the food, da-da-da-da-da. I think it just goes back to perspective and personal preference.
I was talking to one of my classmates, and someone had mentioned about going to Greece. They said it's beautiful, this, that. And I told them, because I'm Greek, I was like, oh, it's absolutely amazing, right? It's beautiful. I've never seen a more beautiful sunset. Another kid who goes like, I would never leave the country. And I was like, I told him, I was like, well, why? He's like, well, I have everything I need here. I'm like, but that's the point. You don't know if there's something you don't know or don't have that, like, it opens your mind, and as you said, it expands your horizons tenfold. It's not even close. So many different cultures of foods, like you talked about. The people are a little differently. Like you can learn so much from the world, and it's pretty cool because there's so many little worlds within the whole world, right? It's like you go to Japan. It's a totally different world than you go to Greece, or you go to Lebanon, or you go here, you go there, you go to Ireland. It's totally different, And I think that's the beauty of it.
What are some of your favorite places
that I've been? So I haven't been able to travel as much as I would like to. I admit that. But I have been to Italy.
Did you say we're setting up a trip or something?
I would like to. I haven't set it up. Hopefully I can go back to Greece. I can go back to what we call the Horio, the village. I have family over there. That'd be cool. I also want to go to Puerto Rico because I'm Puerto Rican. I'd like to have family over there. I'd love to.
I don't think I knew the Puerto Rican piece.
No, you didn't. I told you before, I think. Maybe I told Ron. Maybe I told some of our other friends. But yeah, I'm half Puerto Rican. I'm half Greek. And yeah, I really want to go back to both. But I also went to Spain, went to Barcelona. I've been around the country here. So I've been able to go some places, but I do definitely want to go to some other places. I want to see the great wonders of the world. I want to go to the pyramids in Egypt. I think that would be beautiful. My friend's actually from over there that way. So I would love to be able to go there. And Japan, I want to go to one of the blue zones. Forget the island that's in Japan. That's a blue zone. I would love to go to all the blue zones and see how they live and just see the way they are. And, you know, the blue zones, if anyone doesn't know, that's where people have the highest longevity and life expectancy. They've lived the longest. It's not, you know, odd to see someone at 110 years old still going out every day and gardening, going for walks and stuff, you know? So I'd like to see the way their mentality, their outlook and perception on life. You know, because we're so used to America. We're so used to the United States and work. And sure, but over there, what I notice when I go to Greece, when I go to Spain, when I go to Italy, when, you know, I bet Lebanon too as well, it's a little different. It's not work. You know, I often say people in this country, we live to work, they work to live. It flips. So being able to go to those blue zones, seeing the way they live, I think it'd be amazing, man. Yeah.
No, I agree.
You jotting down notes? That's good.
Yeah. Have you ever had someone else do that?
No, but I bought someone bring notes. I've had someone bring notes, yeah.
Well, it's just, you know, we're having a conversation. There's so many things.
You forget.
Yeah, bro.
It's hard.
Like,
it's hard to...
Unless you've got this wizard
Wizard
of a mind,
yeah.
You're gonna lose some things that
true.
are important that you might want to touch on. As far as like the whole work thing.
Yeah.
See, that's one of the primary reasons why I want to transition into like entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
You know, the rat race, everybody wants to escape the rat race of the monotony of a 9 to 5, and you're just 2 weeks vacation or whatever the heck it is.
A year or whatever.
Yeah, again, this is my
personal
perspective on that. I think there's more to life. And what was that quote you just said? People work to live and
often in America, United States, we live to work, whereas other countries like Greece, like I talked about, probably Lebanon, Spain, Italy, they work to live. So it flips.
Yeah.
We live to work, they work to live.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. Whoever said that.
I don't know. I don't know who said it, but...
Shout out to whoever said that.
Shout out to whoever said that. I got it from somewhere.
That's smooth. But in regards to travel, have you been to Scotland? Was that on?
I have not, but you know what's funny? So this brings up a story. Okay. 2 of my friends went out for a big Europe trip for 2 months. And I knew they were going. I didn't know when. But they went. They went from Scotland. They said it was awesome, amazing. You know, one of them is, I believe, Irish. If not, both of them might have some Irish. But so they ended up going to Ireland too, and they went through all of Europe. And that summer, you know, I went to Europe. I went to Italy, and I went to Greece, and I also went to Spain that summer. So I'm walking through the streets of Venice, and I see this person. And it's a random street in Venice, you know, I'm walking, you know, everyone's, you know, for the most part, brown hair, you know, Mediterranean look. And this person is with his girlfriend, and he has orange hair and an orange beard. Looks familiar, right? The person next to him, his girlfriend, has blonde hair, blue eyes. I'm like, looks familiar, right?
No way.
I'm getting closer. I'm with my brother. I point at him, right? I'm like, Steve, we know them. That's them. And then they do the same thing. They point at me. And it was like the Spider-Man meme. We were both pointing at each other, you know? So, yeah. And randomly in Europe, we ended up meeting each other. Then the rest of our trips aligned in Italy. And we went to Florence together. We went to some other places. We went to Spain. And it was a beautiful time. But isn't that crazy?
That's wild.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened.
I don't know. Across the world, we ended up finding each other. Can't make it up. Small world. Big world, but a small one.
Scotland would be something that I would highly recommend.
Really? You did show me some pictures before about Scotland.
I think I
showed me the cigars. You showed me
the
whiskey.
The largest whiskey collection in the world.
Yeah, I think you showed me whiskey. Yeah.
Bro. And I did that actually around this time.
Really?
It was around, right around Thanksgiving time. The holiday season overseas, I don't know if you've traveled during that
No,
time
I'm
period.
usually here.
Yeah, man. You gotta. I know it's tough because you got family and you got people here that
yeah.
you want to see and whatnot.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I know.
always, yeah.
But if you,
Hell, I've never been to New York for the Christmas.
Tree or whatever?
Yeah, I've never been to New York.
yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't either.
Yeah, really.
I just feel like,
It's overhyped or something.
yeah. I mean, I did like New Year's in New York one year, and
cool.
I said I would never do it again.
Really?
I think it was just the way
Too much?
you went about it.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I mean, I was really young, and
Yeah,
so
it plays a factor.
you didn't really know what's
Yeah.
what at that
Yeah.
age, and so we just thought it would be cool to be in
Do
Times
something.
Square in New Year's, and it was the worst
Yeah.
decision ever. If I were to do it again, it would definitely be a
Different.
lot more, methodical.
Yeah.
And hey, we're not gonna be on the street. We'll probably be in like one of the buildings near Times Square or something.
Yeah, smart.
But Edinburgh in Scotland,
Amazing.
dynamite.
Wow.
That was like top 3 places that
Ever?
I visited. Yeah.
What else?
I really liked Eastern Europe.
Eastern
So
Europe.
like
Romania?
I haven't been there, but Prague or
Oh, Prague. Yeah.
Budapest.
Yeah.
Those are excellent.
They look beautiful.
I have nothing but great things to say.
Wow.
So Eastern Europe, Scotland. Honestly, I haven't been putting too much thought into maybe like some things on my list. Actually, no. Monaco.
Monaco, yes.
Monaco's I think my next trip in like 2026, like big.
I have friends that go
extravagant
there.
trip.
They say it's amazing.
Yeah, the F1 racing and all
Yeah.
that stuff. I'm not even a
I'm not
F1
either,
guy,
but yeah.
it's just like
It's an experience.
exactly
Yeah.
just something that's been on my list. I was actually supposed to go for my 30th, but it didn't.
Yeah,
end up
things, change.
in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna try to go in 2026 with,
Uh-oh.
with a couple friends.
That's awesome.
Open invite. just
Maybe I'm going to Mount Monaco. Maltepes
Just
report
you got
goes to
time.
Monaco.
saying. You got time.
I know. I
You
got to start
time to put it
preparing.
together.
Man. It's November 19th, 2024. Okay, noted.
It's May 2026. You got a good 18 months? I don't know. That's
Hell yeah.
quick math off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But what military? Back to the military.
Yes.
I know we
Yeah, it's kind of diverted traveling, but we weave back. We weave back.
moved back. I think where'd you get the weave thing from? I think I know.
I got it from Trump. I got it from
knew
Trump.
it.
He's like, you gotta weave.
Yeah. That's funny. I heard that. I
You
heard
did?
it too,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
That's why I was like, I think I know what you're talking about. I didn't want to
So
assume.
now it's my thing. I say weave, you know?
But Joe ended up saying, "Hey, you're getting weave.
vegans,
Get wide.
big weave."
Get wide."
Yeah. Shout out to Joe
know
Rogan,
what
the
we're
best in the
talking
space.
It's for hitting the buttons.
Oh.
I don't know if you muted the mics too.
Check.
It's okay. We got the other mics. Yeah. That's why we have backup.
We're gonna get through this, and you're gonna watch it back, and you're not gonna hear.
No, we
nothing.
have 2 different separate audios. We'll be good. We have 2 separate audios. We're perfect. The weave is getting big. It's getting
wide,
big,
bro. It's like we gotta weave back. You end up in, what did you say? The wilderness.
The wilderness. You end up in Scotland.
Dude, hilarious. All right, back to the military.
Back to the military.
What do you want to know?
All right, so
you want to know about the training?
the training. Yes. So tell me about the training.
Tell you a little bit about that.
Tell me also, is there anything? So you talked about what you love. Is there anything you dislike or you're not a fan of? I know this is a hard question, but to me,
I mean,
that like maybe you would change, maybe you would make it better. You'd be like, oh, it could be a little bit better. It could be, maybe the food wasn't that great. You know what I mean? It could be anything.
okay. I think this is a general negative thing to address.
Yeah.
And I think it's competence.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, I personally have a lot of responsibility, and I'm staffed or I'm supposed to be
Yeah, supposed to be. Yeah, I got
staffed
you. Okay.
with the appropriate personnel and resources.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you've heard this before, but Marines do more with less.
Yes, I know this.
And
You just did it with the wine.
we do more with
But
less.
yeah.
We're like
You find a way.
notorious for it.
Yeah, it's a saying.
And that can get old quick.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
I can imagine.
But I think that's what makes the Marine Corps special.
It is, right?
Your boss doesn't want to hear about how hard anything was or the bullshit you had to go through to get the thing done.
Find a way.
What matters is you get the thing done. And so that's a love-hate type of relationship. Because when you're in, we call it like the suck. When you're in the middle of the suck, it sucks.
Yeah.
But when you reflect back on it, oh, it wasn't that bad. We got through it. We figured it out. So we have the smallest budget. We're not equipped like everyone else. But I think that's what makes the Marine Corps special. So it's hard to... like my knee-jerk reaction is to not bitch,
Yeah.
right? When you
course.
ask me like, oh, what don't you like?
Yeah.
You know, because like, and I know people say like the military brainwashes you. Maybe they do because
You can't find one thing.
not that I can't find it. I'm just like
Don't
so
want to.
hesitant
Yeah,
to
yeah,
say
yeah,
it because
yeah.
it's
I
like
know.
we've been so disciplined
Yeah.
to not even
Ever complain, bitch. Well, there's a Latin phrase, and I talked about this recently when I was talking to my father when we were producing the book. And it's something I ended up writing. It probably won't make the book. We'll probably, I think we might scratch out that chapter. But I wrote a chapter, and there's a Latin phrase that came from Roman Empire. And I don't know if I'm saying this correctly, but it's like aut viam inveniam something, right? I don't know. I don't speak Latin. But it translates to either... I will either find a way or I will make one. And that's essentially, I feel like, the Marine way, to say the least.
You know what we call that?
What do you call that?
FITFO.
FITFO.
For any Marine out there, you know what that means.
FITFO.
Do I tell you or do I let you figure it out?
Tell me, because I don't know what you're talking about, but
Pun
the
intended
audience
for
probably
the
doesn't know. Yeah.
FITFO.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah, please.
Figure it the fuck out.
All right, love it. I love it.
So
FITFO.
when a Marine...
I have heard about this, actually, I think.
When a Marine comes up to me and they're like, blah, 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 and...
I think you've told me this.
FITFO, bro.
Yeah.
Figure it the fuck out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've been in...
Oh, no, my professor told me about this once.
Told you about FITFO?
He was in the military. Yes, he told me about FITFO. Yes. That's where it came from.
Bro, it's real.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be PR trained here, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not be egregious with what...
Yeah. Well, this is the personal. This is personal,
the
not
hammer.
the captain.
Yeah. This is personal, right? I was like...
Yeah.
But when a Marine is going through a challenging position, and they gotta accomplish the thing, whatever the thing is. Mission comes first. Figure it the fuck out, bro.
FITFO.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it.
The thing about, if you have a conversation with another Marine, maybe an enlisted member, you probably get a different perspective, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And so from my perspective, I'm in a leadership role. Like, we are there to ensure, to take responsibility for the successes and the failures.
That's what a leader does.
You asked me what I don't like.
Yeah.
Not that I don't like it. It just sucks. You know what I mean? When it was literally zero fault on you, and it's like, yep.
You take it.
So I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
This is like a quick little story.
Yeah.
I was a platoon commander in Camp Pendleton a few years ago. landing support platoon commander. We were doing a little bit of training with some machine guns. There's like a spare barrel because the machine guns get too hot. It's inside the A bag, which is like a assistant bag type of thing where you have extra parts and things to repair the machine gun if it gets too hot or it's not functioning appropriately. And I took the platoon out, like 50 guys. We did a shoot, blah, blah, blah. We get back to turning everything into the armory. We're missing an A bag.
Yeah.
And believe me, I was like so furious.
Yeah.
But again, it comes to like the bearing and making sure you don't lose that bearing and whatnot. There's a lot to it, but we take the platoon, we start searching we retrace our steps, we call it Hands Across America, and we're just on like a line, and we just walk very slowly, and we're looking down, and we're going through the bushes and everywhere that we went to try to find this fucking A bag. Anyway, it was my responsibility. All of it was my responsibility. However, you have resources and you have personnel in place to ensure the success of accountability, and that's what a platoon sergeant does. Platoon sergeant takes accountability of personnel,
no matter what,
whatever you want, whatever the stuff is. And so we lost the bag. I went to the operations officer, the OPSO, and hey, I wasn't like, Sergeant so-and-so lost the bag.
Of course.
And it was like, I lost the bag.
Yeah.
And so that like sucks, but it's just
comes
part
with,
of the responsibility.
Of course, that is responsibility, man.
So just a quick story. I think things keep coming up as you ask that question of like, oh, what things that you don't like? I'm sure there's a lot, but I'm just like.
Off the top.
What's the word?
Went over your head. You're saying? I saw you go like this.
Yeah, when you like dig memories deep in your brain.
Yes. There's a word for it. Yeah.
Not like taste aversion is like something like that, memory aversion.
Yeah. Something. There's some type of word.
Where you just don't even
word for it.
Think about the bad and you just focus on the good.
So you talked about machine guns. You talked about the A bag. What kind of weaponry do you guys usually handle? What kind of weaponry have you handled?
So our service rifle is like a M16 or M4, depending on what we have on hand. And then the pistol used to be a M9, but we are transitioning into the SIG right now. So the pistol isn't for everyone. That is primarily used for like staff NCOs and officers. Unless you're so there's things called billets. I don't know if you know what that means.
Billets?
Billet is just like
I don't know what a billet is.
Responsibility. Trying to explain this in
layman's
English.
terms.
Yeah, a billet is a title of a position.
Okay.
We call that a billet. So your billet is the armory chief. Your billet is the administrator chief. Yeah. Your billet is the maintenance chief. Whatever your responsibility is, we call that a billet. So if your billet or your title calls for you to have a pistol, that's when you would normally like have a pistol. But for the most part, most Marines are only handling a rifle unless you're doing another type of shoot, like a machine gun shoot. However, that's primarily reserved for the infantry. And so I guess this is a good segue into the misconception that I believe a lot of people have about the military.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. This might be eye-opening. So what comes to mind when you think of the military in regards to like jobs? Let me just kind of...
When it comes to jobs?
Yeah, what do you think the military does?
Well, first of all, I mean, first thing that comes to my mind is the Army, right? Navy SEALs and Marines. After that, you go into Air Force and these different other groups like Space Force. You know, you think of Air Force, obviously, you think of them flying planes and jets and whatnot. You think of the Army, you see them as on the go, to me at least. Marines, I think of your uniform. That's what I think right away. And then Navy
Got the best
SEALs,
uniform.
for example, I think high level, top of the line, go into like SEAL Team 6, you know, top level, top clearance, and special missions. That's what I think of.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
However, I would argue that that's like a small part of the military, and I think that's what the misconception is. A lot of people default to that as
Mindset.
their, you know, thoughts on the military. However, there's a huge support system that supports and supplements all the high-speed shit you just said.
Yeah.
So
Obviously,
none of them would be able to do any of those things without
the foundation.
all of the other administrative, logistical, maintenance aspects of the military. And so
Engineers. No, I was just thinking of myself. I also often do think of engineers because I know someone who's an engineer, and there's a lot of different positions like you talked about.
yes, and I think not a lot of people know that.
Yeah.
So another plug is like, hey, don't think you're like going to war and you're gonna be
Boots on the ground.
Yeah, kicking doors in. It's absolutely an option, but it's not the only thing that the military does, because at the end of the day, it still we're self sufficient in that aspect. As I mean, we obviously have a lot of third party integration with like private contractors and things like that. But for the most part, we do a lot of the stuff organically. And so there's administrative sections where you're literally a keyboard warrior. Mm-hmm. You're behind the desk a good part of your day. You have maintenance guys so the trucks that you use to move troops around, who maintains them? Yeah. We do.
Yeah.
Who, you know, maintains the weapons? You know, an armorer is the one doing the repairs on the weapons. Who is issuing you your gear, your flak, your Kevlar, your sleeping system, your MREs, the stuff you're eating, supply. There's fiscal money that has to do budgeting. There's logistics. You know, who's ordering the porta-johns to make sure that there's a place to go to the bathroom. That's what I kind of wanted to make sure
people understand.
I explain, that I would argue
There's
small
depth.
part of it is the infantry.
Yeah.
That's the main part. They're the main effort. That's the reality.
You gotta highlight the other people as well.
However, yeah, there's room for, like, if that's not what you're interested in doing, there's room for you. Like, for me, I'm a logistics officer. I'm not an infantry officer. So I'm not, like, kicking doors in and doing, like, some high-speed shit. The thing that makes the Marine Corps different is all the enlisted are riflemen and all the officers are rifleman platoon commanders.
So you are trained no matter what.
Everyone is.
Yeah.
Every single person gets that foundation and can,
for any position.
For a combat type
if
of
you need to.
position.
Yeah.
Yes. If push came to shove and you needed to grab your fucking rifle and put rounds down, you know what. That's why
you're equipped.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why you get your rifle training every year. You are trained.
You maintain the skills. You don't just have them. You maintain them, right?
Exactly. It's a qualification you have to maintain annually. Yeah. And so I think that's a major misconception, and I just want to make sure
people understand. Yeah.
You get it, right?
Yeah, of course I do. So I also want to get into something else. The world seems like right now anything can happen. And it feels like, these last 20 years have gotten very intense, right? Especially with the rise of technology and whatnot. Feels like anything can happen at any moment. What do you make of the world right now? Is it, are our relations with other countries, not the best? Or is technology going too fast? Are people not adapted to it? Everyday life, people seem to be addicted to their phones and addicted to technology. Like, there's so many different ways you can go about this question, but what is your perspective on it, and what way would you go professionally from, being a Marine, but also personally in your everyday life? What do you think of it?
So professionally,
Yeah.
for the Marine Corps, I'm sure you've heard this, we stay ready so we don't got to get ready.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask me, like, oh, what is it that you do, like, on a regular basis? To be honest, it's just, like, maintain readiness. Yeah. That's what the Marine Corps is here for. The Marine Corps is here, and they're called upon when the nation's least ready.
Yeah.
Because we're the most ready. Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
It's the nation's 911 force, and I had an old battalion commander give this analogy, and it's stuck with me. This was probably, 4 or 5 years ago. But he said there's a clock on your back.
Clock.
And it's counting down. But you don't know when it's going to hit zero.
Yeah, when it's going to ring.
It's on our clock. He'd say this to all the Marines in formation. Hey, it's on every single one of your backs. Every single one of us has a clock on our back. We just can't see it. So it's not when, or excuse me.
It's not if.
Yeah. It's just when. Exactly. And so this is what the Marine Corps does. Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
I had a little sneeze.
This is what the Marine Corps does, man. We are literally here for when the fucking
shit goes down,
the flag goes up,
yeah,
and it's time to go. Yeah. So we're not concerned that it did, just like we know that that's what we signed up for. Yes, it's been pretty. Things are indecisive right now. There's a lot of uncertainties. We have, though, been in fairly peacetime time.
Yeah.
There's a military rotation that's continuous. It's the Marine Expeditionary Unit. It's called the MEU, that goes out and it patrols the seas. Essentially, is what it does in the Indo-Pacific, and it's pretty much on standby for when something happens. So there's Marines
non-stop,
always deployed, not necessarily in a combat
ready.
Yeah, not like a combat approach.
Combat ready zone approach.
Yes, but they are there. And they are ready to...
in case.
There was... Obviously, you've kept up with the news. There's a lot of stuff that happens. The Marines are on the coastlines. Yeah. They're literally just times. On the coastlines. I had friends in Greece just, standing by.
Yeah.
For
who knows what's going to happen, when it's going to happen. Yeah.
And so, professionally, that's what the Marine Corps does. Personally, no one loves, conflict.
Yeah.
I mean, no normal person, I would think, likes conflict. Unfortunately, it's just a thing that has to happen. History ends up repeating itself, and there's a new administration. I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. I don't think I should say more.
You don't have to.
I'm just going to kind of
That's fine. Just ease it out, yeah. Weave it back out.
Weave it back out. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
because
things change.
Apolitical.
Yeah. Here. Things change every 4 years, right? There's always a new election, and that's why we have such I think a great republic, we're able to vote, right? And we're able to vote for the person we, aligns with what we believe in. And every 4 years, there's a new, administration, and people have different opinions and political beliefs and just beliefs in general. So things do change, and you're right, it's an ever-changing landscape. So you are Lebanese, unless there's something you want to continue with.
No. Good. I just wasn't sure if you were curious about anything else that has to do with like the military and anything like that. I hope that
You've done a great job, I think.
Your questions.
But is there anything else you want to talk about?
No. Nothing that comes to mind.
So you are Lebanese, right? What factor did that play in you coming from Abu Dhabi to this country and then growing up and becoming the person you are?
Ask the question one more time, please.
So you're Lebanese, right? You came from Abu Dhabi.
Yes.
Over there. You came to this country at 8 years old.
Yes.
Right? So my question is, how did that shape you growing up to become the person you are?
I think it had everything
Yeah.
to contribute to who I am today. Middle Easterns have a strong culture, and I think culture molds who you become,
Yeah.
for good or for bad.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. So being Lebanese,
Would you like more wine, by the way?
Yeah, why not? We're gonna finish this.
I'm gonna grab some more.
What is it? Green something?
Green Wing Wine Cabernet.
I'm gonna take your
Talk to me.
Your thing. Shout out.
Shout out Green Wing.
Did it a couple times, right?
Need more? Yeah.
We're gonna make sure. No, we're good.
You good?
Cheers to.
Cheers. Cheers to a beautiful conversation, beautiful time.
Yeah. So being Lebanese and how it shaped who I am today.
Yes.
I mean, I speak Arabic fluently. I did lose like the reading and writing aspect, unfortunately. I don't like that happened.
Yeah.
Just, having moved here and English being the
Tough
primary, I ended up
keep
losing
on.
it.
I mean, I had a hard time reading it as well. So, yeah,
it's
not easy.
I think
you
it
read
is
from right to left.
One of or not.
The hardest language.
Yeah.
It goes Mandarin Chinese, at least for English speakers.
Yes.
It goes Mandarin Chinese, number 1. Number 2 is Arabic, which,
Up there.
yeah, I can only speak a little bit. أنا بقى عربي شوي.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
I think I can understand. Sorry?
Mishimni. Not well.
Mishimni?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
I told you I was impressed with how much you knew.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Um,
أنا بتعلم.
بتعلم. You're good, bro.
I'm okay.
I like it.
I got a little bit in me.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, how, just randomly or?
Well, I have very close friends that are from Syria, and we talked about this
Yes.
before with some of our mutual friends. But yeah, so I learned a lot from them. I took about a month maybe. I took lessons for a couple days a week, and they're about an hour with this one guy that's very good. His name's Hassan. He's actually from Pakistan, but he lived in Jordan. So then he lived in Jordan for a bit of his life, and he started doing lessons on an app. And I started doing lessons for an hour for about a month, 4 days a week maybe. And once I did that, he taught me in a very efficient way, an effective way. It's kind of the way the CIA teaches people to learn languages within 6 months, right? So he tells you the most frequently used words, and he teaches them using in sentence form. So you kind of, even if you don't understand a full sentence, right? You understand how things are worded, and you understand the most frequently used words. Well, then if someone says he goes to a car and then home, well, then goes, I know what that is, car and home bit, right? So I kind of can grab those three, and even if I don't know the rest of the sentence, I can kind of comprehend what he's saying, put it together. And especially if he's using hand gestures or whatever the case is. And that's kind of how the CIA does it from what I've heard.
Yeah.
So he taught me that way, and I'm thankful he did, because I learned a lot despite only doing a month, and this is the second hardest language for an English speaker. thankfully, I'm Puerto Rican. I can speak a bit of Spanish, and I'm Greek. I can speak a bit of Greek. Although I'm not the most fluent, perfect either. But so I kind of had a little bit of advantage compared to someone that only speaks English, maybe. So I think that helped. But he was a great teacher, and he taught me very effectively and efficiently, and that's how I learned, man. And while I'd eat, I'd look at my notes. And I read it. I'm like, okay, boom, 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 boom. Okay, bitalam. Okay, bit. Okay, I know rualla, whatever. Mitam, like the restaurant. So you kind of pick up a little bit, and it's just about consistency mostly. And I forget, and I see a lot. You know what I mean? But no, I've able to keep a lot, and then I spend time with you. Obviously, we hang out every now and then, and.
When you can practice.
Yeah, I can practice a little bit. And it's very important because if you don't use it, you lose it.
Absolutely.
So I've lost a lot of my Spanish because I don't, unless I'm talking to my grandma, my grandparents, I don't really speak it every day. I sometimes speak to my mom just to practice, keep it up. But we speak a lot of English in our house growing up because my father was Greek. My mom was, Puerto Rican, Spanish. So, what was the language we used? We used English.
Yes.
So you kind of forget some of the other stuff a little bit.
Did you end up doing any sort of reading or writing?
So I did for reading wise. He just taught me using Latin letters, which was easy for me to learn.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there's a certain word for it where it's like Arabic and English letters, and you have the 7 and you have the 3. You know what I mean? But I did Duolingo before I would go to sleep for 5 minutes. And then I started learning a little bit, like Cuba. I knew, it teaches you countries and stuff. So, I knew how to spell Cuba, or at least when I read it, at least. But then now I can't read anything.
Are you trying to learn any other languages, or?
I'm trying to get my Greek better because, like I said, you forget things, and
I know 0 Greek.
Yeah, well, I can teach you a little bit.
Yeah, give me
you want
a
word? Good word, bad word? Here, I'll tell you a good one. That's Efharisto. Efharisto, it means thanks. And that's a good one to know. Yasu means hello, hi.
Yasu?
Yasu. Ya. Su.
Kind of like Jesus in Arabic, Yeshua.
Kind of, yeah. Isa is Arabic, isn't it?
For Jesus?
Yeah. It's Yeshua. Yeshua, I guess you could say Yeshua, yeah. No. Yasu, Yassou. Yasu.
That's thank you?
No, that's hello.
Hello.
Efharisto is thanks.
Haristo?
F, like EF.
Yep.
Haristo.
Nah.
He said nah.
Nah.
Horio means village. Xorio. All right, we'll get the language lesson on a different day, guys.
Dude, yeah, that's impressive though.
Yeah.
So you got a little bit of Greek, a little bit of
Spanish, a little bit of Arabic, and English, obviously.
And
then I, just because I know Spanish, there's a couple things I know in Italian, and because I've been there. And then a couple of times we didn't know what was going on. Our train was late, so I kind of have to talk to people, even though I don't speak the language and they don't speak English. So I'd be like, donde, whatever, and use certain words that are the same in, Spanish and Italian. And then I also learned, posso avere un espresso, is it possible to have an espresso? Can I have an espresso? Like, you go to the restaurant or cafe, you learn certain things. So I learned a little bit of Italian, but I can't speak Italian. I can say come stai, which is how are you? In Spanish, it'd be como estás.
yeah.
Como stai? It's very similar.
I couldn't help but see Goodfellas up there.
Great movie, amazing. Are you a fan of the movie? Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually rewatching The Sopranos right now.
Sopranos, it's amazing. One of my favorites. It's
You bring up Italian and
Italiano,
espresso
yeah.
and all this
Soprano,
stuff.
espresso,
I had
boom, boom,
to
Goodfellas.
plug that in.
Nah, classic. It's
Who's your favorite?
my favorite in there. Pesci was very took over the show, man. They're all amazing. You can't go wrong, right?
Absolutely.
De Niro, Ray.
Pesci got a little.
Pesci had a lot of flavor to him. Yeah, a little. What is that? The guy's Turkish or something. I forget his name.
The salt guy?
He's the salt guy. Yeah, he goes like that. He has a little salt to him, to say the least. No, amazing movie. One of my favorite movies.
I've been rewatching The Sopranos. So You were reminding me about like, because I think I'm at the part where they're doing all like the screenplay stuff.
Yeah.
He's like working on.
I have a question. Do you think I look like Christopher from The Sopranos? Someone said that recently. He's like, yeah.
I think there. I see.
See the resemblance?
I see a little bit. Yeah. The complexion.
I've gotten that. I usually get
The hair.
Entourage. Do you know the show Entourage?
I don't think so.
It was on HBO 2 with The Sopranos. No. I'll show you after. They say I look like Vinny Chase. I get called Vinny Chase all the time.
Really?
Like many of my friends, they say it's Vinny Chase and the Chasers. That's what they say, yeah.
At least you're not getting called Gru.
Crew, no.
Yeah. I had a certain someone calling me Gru for some time.
Well, I've gotten a bunch of stuff.
It's all right. It's fun
Yeah.
like thing.
Yeah. I've gotten some weird ones, but yeah, I most often get Vinny Chase.
Yeah.
From
So
Entourage.
I used to be. This used to bother me a lot when I was younger. Again, I kind of grew up in a pretty rough area. But do you remember Mr. Bean? It's okay. You can
I know
laugh.
Mr. Bean.
You
I
can
know
laugh.
Mr.
You
Bean.
can laugh if you see the resemblance.
I get it. I
It's
get
okay.
it. I get it.
I'm not who I used to be, but I would.
Get mad. Yeah,
I would get pretty frustrated when someone and
Say Mr. Bean.
I would hold them accountable.
Really?
I would hold them accountable.
But no, of course I know Mr. Bean.
They would say, you know,
Yeah,
they
I
try
know. You
to
look like little like
poke,
Mr. Bean.
poke fun
Poke
or
the bear.
whatever. Yeah. And they knew it would get under my skin.
Well, that's why they did it. You know?
Exactly.
When they know, when someone knows that, they press your buttons and bust your balls.
But here's the thing: when you start making fun of yourself, you take all that power away.
You do. It's true.
And so I throw out Gru, I throw out Mr. Bean.
Yeah.
What more you got to say about me?
It's the old.
You know what I'm saying?
It's the old playbook and it works because, listen, that power just went away.
If you can laugh at yourself,
You should.
you know what I'm saying?
Bust balls, have fun, this, that. Have a good time. Don't take life too seriously. Enjoy yourself.
But that was something that
Turn
I
a disadvantage
struggled
into
with.
an advantage.
Exactly,
Yeah.
perfect. That was something I struggled with growing up. You know what I mean? I did it. It
Everyone
comes with
does.
maturity, bro.
Everyone does,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like, you're not going to come out the womb like
No.
Gandhi.
No, you learn.
So I'm just admitting that at one point in my life, I was
Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean or Guru.
I have a question. How have you liked being on the show?
Dude, this is cool.
Did you forget the cameras are here?
Yeah, bro. Like,
Yeah.
they come in and out. It's like we go out to dinner. You know what I'm saying? Me, you, Rami, whoever.
Rami.
We go out.
Shout out to our friend Robbie, by the way. He's probably going to watch this.
Connected us, yeah. But it's just like being out and us conversating at the wine place or wherever we go. So it's nothing different. I think this has been a great experience. I just hope that I was able to answer your questions in enough detail.
I think it was great detail. I think people are going to be actually surprised and amazed, and they're going to learn something new today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Like, what's the word? Outlying type of curiosities with the military.
What's something that you believe that is very interesting that I should know, the audience should know, and what is something that the average person, it'd be like, oh, it'd be very surprised maybe, and that you find that they should know? Very hard question, but you brought it up, so.
It's a silly answer. I mean, so many different things come to mind, but have you ever heard of powdered eggs?
Powdered eggs. Tell me about this. Audience wants to know now.
When you are in a field type of environment, the eggs that you're being served is powder and water, and it gets mixed up and it turns into eggs.
Okay.
Random.
Yeah, very random, but
Random.
something new. Something.
Yeah, because I feel like I touched on a lot of the
You did.
the other behind the scenes type
Yeah.
of stuff. I'll say, like I don't want to undermine the physical
Yeah.
aspect of the standard with that. You know, the training that you go through initially is really tough, especially if you're going through during a heavy season like a winter or something. You're expected to go through that fucking ice.
Storm.
Yeah, you're like in the snow, you're in the ice. True story, when we were going through this like water obstacle, there was ice and they would throw rocks and stuff to break up the ice, and then
Boom. Collapse.
you're going in.
Yeah.
You know, like you're getting fully submerged. You're going into that ice cold
Freezing water.
and you're maneuvering through that or the mud. So, but that's like the cool part,
Yeah,
right?
it is. Yeah.
Like, I feel like
That's the exciting part
that's
that you talked about.
What I was, yeah, exactly, bro. Yeah. And it's like the suck that I was telling you about, like it fucking look. We would get in this like penguin huddle. Mm-hmm. This was freezing temperatures, and we're outside. Like we are sleeping outside. There isn't like any sort of shelter or anything like that. But we would stay up all night, and there would be like, I don't know, 40, 50 of us, literally in a penguin huddle, in like a penguin huddle to keep body heat together.
You have to.
And we would take turns going to the middle, because that's where the most heat was, right? It's like, all right, you get a minute in there, your time's up, get into the back or whatever. So
that's a great story.
The physical part of it, I don't want to
go not get unnoticed, not get the shine it should.
Yeah, we our physical fitness test is the longest run. Everybody else runs a mile and a half.
So how long is it for you guys?
3 miles.
3 miles.
Yeah, we run 3
Everybody
miles.
else is just a mile and a half.
Mile
really?
and a half.
How about the Navy? You know?
I think they're just a mile and a half.
Wow.
I don't know all the services test. Ours is 3 miles. A perfect score is 18 minutes. Do the math. That's a 6 minute mile. That's pretty tough.
You have to
23.
go under 6 minutes, I believe, to qualify for the Olympics. Or no, maybe under 5 minutes, something like that. 5 minutes, 45 seconds for the Olympics. So that's top tier.
Yeah, your sprints are up there too. Your 880 sprint, I think, is like supposed to be like 2 minutes 15 seconds. That's a half a mile or something.
Straight sprint.
23 pull-ups straight, no break. You know, I mean, you can hang, but so it's pretty demanding.
Yeah. Do you have any other stories like that? Because I found that very interesting.
Which one?
Like you're going across in a storm or on the ice. They throw the rocks to break the ice on purpose so that you're submerged. Are there any other stories or things like that that the audience may want to hear?
Yeah,
because I found that interesting. I'm sure they do as well.
You have to like. There's a bunch of different things. There's a lot of hiking that's involved. You do 15, 18, 20 mile long hikes. Those things takes hours. Wow. You're doing it with anywhere from 50 to 80 pounds on your back. They get really boring because they're really long. You have instances where you have to dig your own like foxhole with a small ass fucking, we call it an e-tool. It's just a small shovel that's probably this big in your
small,
because you can fold it up. It's collapsible, and you put it in your pack, and you have to literally dig a foxhole so you can
get in,
bunker down in there, and whether if it's a defensive position or whatnot, that's you have your rifle placed there so you can do your sector of fire and things like that.
I think these are things that the audience would find interesting. I find it interesting just listening.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just because like this is just really regular to us,
to you,
that it. I kind of overlook it. Something that I was saying I was hoping wouldn't happen with the physical part.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of cool things you can do with MREs. That you can chef up your MREs, the meals ready to eat. Are you familiar?
Yeah.
You there's like a lot of different menu types. You can get like, they call them chicken burrito bowls or a taco or whatever, but they're not great. I mean, when you're starving though,
Of course.
those things are calorie packed, bro. There's 2,500 calories in one, maybe, I think.
Wow.
I don't know exactly. So you
get the energy needed.
Yeah, they're designed to kind of be spread throughout, a long period of time. But there's some that get candy in it, so that's a good time.
a little treat.
The sour Skittles, those go. That's a bargaining chip right there in the field, man. If you get an MRE with a sour Skittle in it, you got some, or the chocolate pudding?
Chocolate pudding. Yeah.
Oh man, bro, you're
You're
living
living
it
good,
large.
living
You're living
large.
good if you come
Having a
across
cup of
that.
dirt.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, there's a lot of little treats that you can get with an MRE. The cheese and the chocolate peanut butter is really nice. I should have brought one and we could have done a little taste test with it. I have a few stashed away. But you can get creative is what I'm trying to say. You can make your own little recipes. You can put the cheese with the meatballs, and you put the meatballs on your little, cracker or whatever, and give it some crunch and texture.
It gets
Marine,
deep.
yeah, it gets real deep, bro. You could have a whole topic on just...
We're going to have a whole podcast on this.
On just MREs, bro. So,
that's funny.
Yeah. I don't know what else there is.
So, all right. We talked about the military a lot. I think we've gone into detail very well. Now, you talked about how you wanted to get into real estate. You have all these other goals, and you're into real estate and whatnot. Now you're going back and forth. What are some of your ambitions outside of the military?
That's great little segue into real estate. I mean, the ambition in general, the topic would be real estate, maybe real estate development. A lot of who I've become today is contributed to everything that I've learned from a leadership perspective, from the Marine Corps. And so when I say that, what I'm trying to say is, when I decided I wanted to get into real estate, I applied a lot of those type of lessons.
Mindset, lessons.
Yes.
Your education.
Yes. Towards
Experience.
Real estate. And so I remember, talking to a friend of mine and explaining the vision. And I'm telling you, within, I think, 3 months, we were able to become general partners on 328 units in Atlanta, Georgia. It was a $33 million purchase price. It was a $10 million raise. We came in as equity partners in 3 months.
Wow.
Where there's partners on there that took them 2-3 years just to get to that position. And so that little accomplishment right there, that was able to really open up kind of
Doors.
it opened up doors and just like my perspective and open up my eyes to seeing what can be accomplished in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
And from there went on to do a couple different rehabs, where we bought a distressed property, we put in a good bit of
Renovation.
and resold it exactly for a profit, right? That
At the end of the day, that's the point.
Yeah. Like right now, I'm actively doing 3 different projects. 1 here in Philly in Graduate Hospital, 2 in Newport, Rhode Island, and it's really demanding and it takes a lot. Managing all that is not easy, but that's what being an entrepreneur is about.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Commitment. You alluded to that in the
Consistency.
beginning, bro. You rattled off the 20 different things that you're juggling right now, bro.
Yeah.
But again, tying it back to the military really taught me a lot of fundamentals. It's like my first real professional type of
Environment.
Exactly. And so there's so many lessons that I've taken away, that I've learned the hard way, you know.
I think the military directly affects and is correlated with business. And you just brought this up, but one thing I want to say is when you look at business strategy, what is it based upon? Well, it's based on strategy in the military and the art of war, right? And I read that book all the time. It's one of my favorite books.
It's on my list. I still haven't gotten to it.
Amazing. I have a copy here. I can give it to you after we're done. Yeah, so we'll bring it. I'll show you. But in the art of war, you can use that in anything, any aspect of life. At the end of the day, one way or another, that's kind of life, in my opinion.
So the military, or the Marine Corps specifically, does a good job in summarizing lessons in phrases.
Yeah.
So if I say glass ball, rubber ball, do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Glass ball, rubber ball?
Yes.
I can assume
Take a stab.
glass ball, delicate, right? Rubber ball, it's a little more offensive.
Yes. Yeah, you're definitely there.
Defense, offense,
No, not particularly.
Kind of,
Just
balance.
The balance, delicacy with the glass ball is the takeaway. So you're juggling how many different things right now?
Rubber ball and
No.
glass ball.
When you named off like 20 different things.
Yes.
Right? In there's rubber balls, and in there's glass balls. The glass balls are the no-fail
Yeah.
tasks.
Yeah. You have no option.
Your school, that's a glass ball. You're not fucking dropping that ball, because if it drops, it's going to shatter.
Yeah.
If you drop, you know...
Business,
you
let's say.
mentioned, you know, something about, you know, say coffee meeting or something.
Yeah. I have one Friday.
Sorry?
I have one Friday.
Yeah. Depending on, like...
Yeah,
how
the
important it is,
position, this case.
that could maybe be a rubber ball. It could be a rubber ball, glass ball, whatever it is for you.
Yeah.
The rubber ball is going to bounce back.
It comes
you can,
back.
You
You'll
can
be
pick
able to
it back
balance,
up. A glass ball, once you drop that bitch,
You can't
you're going to fucking Humpty Dumpty that shit?
No.
Absolutely not. 2 is 1, 1 is none. You can put that one together.
Stronger numbers.
2 is 1.
2 is 1.
2 is 1, 1 is none.
All right, tell me.
What do you put together from that?
Tell me.
Okay. Alex, you got anything? 2 is 1, 1 is none. It's a countermeasure,
Okay.
right? How many fucking cameras do you have here?
3.
How many microphones do you have here?
4.
2 is 1, 1 is none.
Yeah, makes sense.
One goes down.
Yeah,
How many
got
more you
another.
got to come up?
Yeah.
These are the things the military teaches you. Walk and chew gum.
Tell me.
What do you got?
Walk and chew gum? No idea.
Multitask.
It's a good one.
You got to be able to walk and chew gum. I tell my Marines that all the time. Oh, I got this, I got that.
Walk and chew gum.
You got to be able to walk and chew gum.
FITFO.
Figure it the fuck out. These are the things, 7 years of
worth.
compound, right? Like, that I try to live by, bro.
Yeah.
There's so many of these, you know, 2 is 1, 1 is none, you know.
I love quotes and phrases, by the way, so this is amazing to me.
I hope you use some of these.
100%. 2 is 1, 1 is none, 100%.
Walk and chew gum.
Glass ball, rubber ball.
Balls.
Yeah.
Last one I got is, or I got to more like flash to bang.
Flash to bang. Okay. This has to do with a flashbang. Grenade?
It's a military type.
I assume.
Yeah. So if someone's saying, hey, like flash to bang, what do you put together? I got you. It's like beginning to end.
Okay.
So from flash to bang, this is what happens.
Oh, understood.
Because it goes flash and then it
Yeah,
goes
bang.
bang.
Yeah.
Same thing for you can say soup to nuts.
Yes, I know this.
Soup to nuts. Do you know where
From
that
bottom to
originated
top?
from?
No, tell me.
The soup to nuts?
No, tell me. I don't know where it came from.
I might botch it, but it's like from the olden days, and it had to do with when you're having like a dinner or something. You start with soup, and you end with nuts, and that's how you got to soup to nuts.
Soup to nuts.
And that's beginning. That's beginning to end. Hey, soup to nuts. 2 weeks, we'll have this thing done.
Yeah.
Soup to nuts. I need 5 guys to.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. So I think that that's a really cool part of.
It's awesome, amazing to me.
You know, you compound these lessons into these little tiny phrases. How powerful is that?
Very powerful,
dude. And it's great when who you're surrounded by comprehends that shit.
Yeah.
And I can just say those few words, and I don't have to like
explain a whole summary, paragraph, just soup to
you
nuts.
hit it quick.
Fit fo, boom.
Hey, what's our communication plan? How are we talking to one another? Hey, 2 is 1, 1 is none. Got it?
Yeah.
Check. Got it.
Easy. Bang.
All right. We got,
efficient,
we got
effective.
green gear. We got black gear. We got cell phones. We got hand and arm signals. We got 4 ways to communicate. Yeah. One
Efficient,
fails,
effective.
you got your fail safe, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, bro.
These are the things that people don't know about, which I find amazing. I'm sure they do as well. Man, this has been
Glad you
amazing.
asked that question.
I'm glad you answered it.
Like I said, if anyone is interested in learning more or anything like that, or is interested in pursuing any sort of, so right now, my unit, the regiment, has 4 lines of efforts, and one of those line of efforts is recruiting and retention. I alluded to recruiting being challenging right now.
Yes.
And so this is a plug towards, maybe, I don't know. If
anyone who's
person
listening,
if anyone,
watching.
if one person joins,
that'd be that'd be amazing.
A great win. What we do right now is really tough though, man. The mission set that we have. So I talked about the 3 different places that I've been with the FMF.
Yeah, 3 different parts.
The TCOM, and right now
hubs.
Sorry, the hubs. Yeah. Right now with the reserves. So just to give you a little quick breakdown of day-to-day roles that we're responsible for. We have 4 pretty important missions. One is funeral honors. The other one is community relations. Another one is Toys for Tot.
Yeah, I know this one.
And the last one is, supporting the reserves. And so touching on each one of those, starting from the reserves, we are the active component. Have you heard of the weekend warriors or the reserves where they come in 1 week in the month, 2 weeks out the year?
Yes.
Those are reservists. That's their commitment. 1 week in the month, 2 weeks out the year. But who's there day on, stay on?
Yeah.
Myself and the staff that I work with. They facilitate all of the, training and everything that goes with making sure that the reservists get the training that they need. Once a month, 2 weeks out the year. Then you have Toys for Tot, which is pretty popular, right? Yeah. Everybody knows that, but that's a Marine Corps mission. Yeah. You have all the other branches asking to be a part of it.
Yeah, none of them are.
None of them can be. Yeah. We hold that near and dear to our heart, and we give 20, 30,000 toys a year around this time right now.
I know this is the big.
We have a heavy campaign going right now, man.
It's Christmas time.
And then you have
holidays.
Yeah, holidays, and then community relations, which is all like the Veterans Day stuff. We do the parades. We have the Eagles game that I mentioned to you.
Yeah,
we did the Eagles.
249th anniversary here in Philadelphia.
The birthplace of the Marine Corps.
The birthplace of America, birthplace of the Marine Corps. Right here.
Groundbreaking at Ton Tavern on 2nd Street. Yeah. Huge stuff happening.
Next year's going to be even bigger, 250th. That's a huge one.
And they're supposed to open up Ton Tavern.
Wow.
And then the last is the funeral honors, which takes the biggest burden, because that's a glass. That's the ultimate glass ball.
Oh, I know.
You cannot fuck that up, because you only get one funeral, and anyone who served deserves military honors. Where we go, we fold the flag, we play taps, we serve the flag on behalf of the President of the United States. Yeah. Please accept and loved ones, honorable and faithful service, that speech that you give to the next of kin. Really important stuff, man. in addition to everything else we have to do, we maintain all of those glass balls and rubber balls. So that's what's happening right now here in Folsom where I work. That's what brought me here. And that's what I've been doing for the last year. Wow. If you know, you didn't.
Yeah, no, you told me about some of this before, but it's good to.
But it's different than what I was doing where I came from before.
Yeah.
And that's different than where I came from before that. And then if I continue, that'll be different than what I'm about to go do. That's the part that I told you I love the most.
Excitement of something new.
Full circle. All right.
Yeah. All right. Perfect.
Boom.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chris. Amazing.
You're the best.
Oh, man. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to subscribe if you want to get in contact with Chris. Comment below. And we'll see you guys next time.